Hi everybody, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and this video is going to be about getting ready for a show and the day in the life of at a show. So today we're going to the Royal Highland Show and I'm only taking Alf. Like I say, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, so look at my eyes, I'm rather tired and my hair's rather wild, so I'll get that sorted out. But in the meantime, let's get started. Right, so first of all I feed Alf, and while he's eating I will muck him out. And then once I've done that, I'll put him in the wash box and I'll get ready to plait him. So I try to plait on the morning of a show, as they tend to look a lot better than doing it the night before, and it also means when it's hot, Alf doesn't have to wear a hood, and so he's more comfortable. But I like to use thread, so I whiz along with that. And yes, I'm in my pajamas, so ignore that. But yeah, I plait, and it probably takes me about, I don't know, half an hour, maybe a little longer, because Alf has a few more plaits in than usual. But there you go, that's them done. And I think they look all right. And then after that, I put bandages on. So I always travel with bandages when I go to a show, predominantly for protection because we're traveling a far distance, and also keeps Alf's legs white. I then put a hood on him and this really light cotton sheet. This sheet's ancient. It was my grandparents', but it's really smart and very cool for them. So I try to use them in the summer. And probably takes me a while to put it on. It doesn't have any belly straps. Like I say, it's quite old-fashioned, so it has a surcingle. You have to use a surcingle, but I like to use a piece of gamgee on their back just to add a bit of protection so there's no pressure. Right, it's about 6:45. Alf's in the wagon. I look a little bit more presentable. Still got tired eyes, but let's go. Right, so we're en route and it will take us about 3 hours. People think we live closer, but actually it's quite far, the Royal Highland. And then when we get there, I walk Alf out for about 10 minutes. There's no grass for him to eat, but I just walk around all the lorries just so he has a really good stretch of his legs and stiffens himself. Right, Alf's just had his 10-minute walk when we've got here, and I'm going to get changed because I've definitely picked the wrong clothes. I had quite a bit of time before my class started, so we had a really good look around the show and went to watch some show jumping, and this is the ring I was competing in. And then after we watched some of that, I went and had a look at the sheep. These are the Suffolks, which are my favourite. And so yeah, we had a good look at them. And then after we had a look at the sheep, we went and had a look at the Clydesdale competition, which was really interesting. So we had a little look at that. And then after we did that, we went to have a look at the cows. Now there's so many different breeds of cows in this shed, and it's amazing how you can get so up close to them. So yeah, we had a good look at that. That was really cool. And then we saw the champion Highland cow, I think, which you'll see in a second. And it had very shiny horns. Yeah. And then we went to the food hall, Mackay's or Mackey's, I don't know. And then we had a little look at a flat class, which looked like a mountain and moorland class. And then we had to quickly go back and get ready. So I had about 30 minutes till I had to tack up, and I put on Alf's Ice 5 boots. Now I've just invested in these and I think they're great. So before I ride, I put on the Ice 5 boots without the ice packs. So it's just the vibration. And that's really because he's an older horse. I want to get the circulation into his feet into his legs without making them cold. I almost want them to get a bit warm so that he's not as stiff. So I always put them on without the ice first, and they go on for 20 minutes. I then do the forelock plait. Now I never do this at home because if he's going to rub or whatever against his hay net, it's not going to look tidy. So I only do this just before I tack up. And it does take a while, so bear with me. You'll see the water his forelock isn't really that wet. I use this, it's like a foam type of thing. It's quite good, and it means it's more like tacky rather than wet, and it's easier to get a hold of. So I go ahead and do that. Then I go ahead and add a little bit of makeup. This is quite common in showing. Now, I don't add a lot though. Like, some people go really over the top and make them look like big pandas, but you just want to do enough just to highlight their features and just make them stand out a little more. So I just put a little bit around his eyes and a little bit on his muzzle, but not putting so much on that it's an eyesore. It's just enough. And it does make all the difference. Some people like it, some people don't, but I do. So there you go. Right, so I get on now, and Alf used to be in the habit of rodeoing when I would get on him at a show, but he seems to have gone out of that habit now. So he was very good, and we didn't have any rodeoing or bucking, which was great. And I always try and get on about half an hour before the course walk, depending when I am in the ring. And then I give him a warm-up for about like 20 minutes, I'd say, just gently trotting, cantering, nothing too strenuous. Before I have to walk the course. And really what I'm wanting is just to get him relaxed, get him soft, get him warmed up and loosened off. But like I say, nothing too strenuous, just and also get him accustomed to his surroundings and the ring, basically. So here's the course all set up. It was built by Graham Barclay, who is probably one of my favourite course builders. He puts so much effort and detail into his courses. He really goes out to use fillers and make it like very rustic and a proper working hunter course, not just poles. So it basically has everything in it. As you can see, it's really well decorated. It's not built overly big, but there's certainly plenty of technical questions. Here I'm walking the double, and that had a water tray on one side of the fence and then on the other side of the other fence, if that makes sense. So that caught a few people out. And then after I've done that, I got back on Alf and gave him another ride round. Now I found out I had to wear a body protector, and it was so hot, it was horrendous. So I actually took my jacket off, and we had permission not to wear them. However, I seemed to be the only one who did that. At least I wasn't hot anyway. So here I am going in to jump my round. Now, I was meant to be fourth in, but I was actually second in because two other people hadn't declared. And that's why it's so important to make sure you're properly warmed up, because things like this can happen. Now, when I start off, I want to get a really good quality canter, and we head to number 1, and that was okay. I did feel I was a bit rushed before I went into the ring, like I say, because I thought I had a bit longer. However, the more I went round this, the more he seemed to settle and get into it. So this here's a spread, but it had trees all in the middle, so you had to pick a line, like which side to go on. And then this is the double I was talking about earlier. And of course Alf said he was fine, that was not a problem. And then here, this walked 6 strides. However, 6 strides was not there, and I went to go for it, and then I went, oh god, I can't. And Alf went, don't worry, I'll pick my feet up and help you. But this got a bit untidy, like he's disunited there, and it wasn't very clean. Ideally, I would have got him back a bit sooner, but never mind, it doesn't matter. And then this was a forward 4, which we got quite nicely. And then here was a water tray, like a fan jump. So it was like a spread on one side, but then like one wing, if that makes sense. It's called a fan anyway. And then here, number 10 was a treble. Now this was like a tunnel of trees, so it was a double. The first 2 were a gate, and unfortunately Alf just lost his concentration at the first part and had the gate. But it was quite daunting, really. It was a lot to look at, and he hasn't seen anything like that for quite some time, so never mind, it is what it is. And then we jumped number 11, and then canter around to number 12, which was quite a long way. And when it's a long course like this, I try to find ways where I can save my horse's energy. So if I can do a tighter line by still keeping it smooth, then I will. And then we go back in for presentation. I've done my showing in hand, and we were 3rd, so I was very happy. There was only 1 clear, and he jumped really well, so there's nothing more I could do, and I was really happy with him, like I say. And actually, the person who won, I used to ride that horse, and he's a lovely horse, so I was very pleased for them. So as soon as I got back to the horse box, I put the Ice 5 boots on, but this time I do put the ice on because I want the legs to cool after he's worked. So we put the ice on first, and then we put the boots on top, and I just find this really works quite well. And again, that stays on for 20 minutes, and then they come off. I also take his plaits out straight away when we get back, just so he's nice and comfortable. We did go to have a look around the show again, just to see what else there was, but it was honestly so hot, it was horrendous. So we thought the best thing to do was get back and get Alf home. And once he got home at 8 o'clock, he went out in the field for an hour, which he really enjoyed. So that was our day. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.